now want to continue our weekly Land Report segment with the American Society of Farm Managers and Rural Appraisers. Grant Fitzgerald joins us once again with the latest from Omaha. Grant, always a pleasure. So let's get right to it. This is a word that has been, well, we've been hearing a lot, and I feel like a lot of people throw it around. Sustainability. Maybe I'll have you define that for us briefly. What does this mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for having me again. And really, just a nice general definition of sustainability is, it's a system of practices that, can be site specific, but really just lead to the long-term production of, for our instance, food and fiber. And really locally, a lot of us are being sustainable and having the sustainable practices, and we don't really even think about it. We're so used to it. And a good example of that for me in Nebraska is corn and soybean rotation, right? Break life cycle of pests and on each of those crops, as well as corn is a heavy nitrogen user, and a soybean plant is a legume plant and can actually fix nitrogen or bring it from the air back into the soil. So they work in a great synergy together, and really is a sustainable crop production practice.
So, Grant, if somebody's already doing this, say this rotational crop, I mean, how is this a way that the farm can be labeled and measured as sustainable?
In a way, I mean, there's a way to go even further and get there's third-party standards and audits to really go, to another level, I should say. But there's basic analysis out there too. There's vendors out there, and we can really do it ourselves where, what practices lead to a sustainable farm. And a big one is tillage. Are you doing no-till? Are you doing minimum till? Can you reduce the tillage practices that you currently have implemented? A big one is cover crops. Are you getting cover crops on the farm and having the benefits of those? And a big one that most tenants, again, are probably doing is fertilizer plans and grid sampling, soil sampling, and variable rate applications, and just ensuring that fertilizer is applied in an efficient manner.
So covering a lot of different varieties of ways to be sustainable. I have to ask you, are there cost share programs available to implement practices, say, like cover crops?
Yeah, absolutely there are. And that's the thing about cover crops. I like cover crops, but it can be difficult to get them implemented. They have a lot of terrific benefits like erosion control. And for me in Nebraska, we have some hilly farms, and those covers will really help hold those hillsides. And, they can suppress weed pressure, and they can reduce soil compaction, and they can limit runoff, right, with nutrients, and actually hold those nutrients in the soil. But they're not cheap to put in. And some folks are using helicopters and pushing the seed down into the canopy prior to harvest, praying for a rain. And some of them have to be terminated or sprayed in the spring. And so it's not cheap. And there are cost share programs for that. There's different ways to do it. The USDA has some. And then there's carbon sustainability programs that come out.
A lot of resources out there. Grant, thank you so much as always. Grant Fitzgerald with the American Society of Farm Managers and Rural Appraisers. You want to be sure to tune in each Wednesday, 1:30 Eastern, for a weekly Land Report update.